Hello, everyone. Welcome into our ESPN FC studios for a fresh edition of the show. Alexis Nunes here with Stevie Nicol and Craig Burley. We're going to be talking about all the cup competitions going on around in the world of football, plus an alleged toxic atmosphere created by a manager in Scottish football. We'll get Stevie and Craig's opinion on that. But first, we're going to start off in Spain, still looking back at El Clasico. This is the page of Marca. It says, El Madrid quiere la fiesta en paz. Real Madrid want to celebrate or party in peace. This, of course, speaking about Madrid wanting to move on from what we saw from Vini Jr. and his antics in El Clasico, that nobody's talking about Real Madrid winning. Instead, it's Vini Jr. once again stealing all of the headlines, and not in the right way. All right, let's welcome in the rest of our crew, shall we? We've got Frank Leboeuf joining us, as well as Gustavo Hofman, our ESPN Brazil colleague, who is, of course, the Madrid correspondent over in Madrid. And you know, Gustavo, when it comes to anything Vini Jr., I know you are the most informed. Just going to that Marca front page now, is this why we're hearing that Real Madrid are not going to sanction Vini for his behavior on Sunday?
Hello, Alexis. Hello, everybody. Yes, that's the information that ESPN has it. What we know by sources is that Real Madrid won't punish Vinicius for his behavior at El Clasico against Barcelona. All the Real Madrid team, all the players, they had 2 days off. Vinicius traveled to Monaco with his new girlfriend, with Eder Militão, and his wife also. He arrived back to Madrid just today. Tomorrow, it is expected to happen a meeting between Vinicius and Xabi Alonso, Vinicius and his teammates. Only tomorrow we're going to actually discover what's going to happen between Vinicius and his manager. But as I said, what we know by source is that Real Madrid won't punish Vinicius. Here in Madrid, all the journalists, everybody's expecting a lot the next press conference of Xabi Alonso. That's going to happen on Friday in Leboeuf, 1 day before the match against Valencia. Well, Vinicius is still, after the match, nobody from Real Madrid talked to Vinicius. As I said, 2 days off. After the match, he went to his home, he had a dinner with his friends, with his staff, and then traveled to Monaco. So the first meeting between Vinicius and Xabi Alonso about what happened at El Clasico will happen tomorrow at Leboeuf, so this Wednesday.
All right, well, that's exactly what that headline in Marca was saying, Craig, the fact that the club is happy.
It happens a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, but they said they're happy to leave it to Xabi Alonso. But what do you think of the club itself not wanting to at least give some sort of sanction?
Well, the manager will deal with it, and his punishment may be the kind of punishment he's already seen this season, which was the marker being laid down by Xabi Alonso, putting him on the bench. Now he was back in form, back playing better, back being a better team player for the most part. But, you know, Xabi Alonso just blanked him when he walked off the field. Now, you know, as I say, it happens more often than you would think. You know, probably he did come back out, but I would imagine he had to be ushered back out and told, listen, this is not a good look, come back out. So it was kind of a little poke in the eye to the manager, and I would imagine he'll either... And by the way, we talk about the press conference coming up. Xabi Alonso was brilliant at the press conference pre-El Clasico when he was batting off all the questions about Lamine Yamal. He's a smart cookie. He's a clever guy. He knows how to answer questions, and I'm sure he'll deal with it accordingly. And then Vini Jr. will find out his fate in the next match, whether he's sat on the bench or whether Xabi Alonso's going to say, do you know what, I'll let this one rest for now, but if it happens again, you're in trouble.
Stevie, as a coach or as a former coach, how would you be handling this? Would you bench him for the next game?
Absolutely. I don't think Alonso has any choice. If he's not seen to be doing anything, he'll lose respect everywhere, including the other players in the dressing room. Absolutely, 100%. The one I find funny is that why would anybody think that Real Madrid are going to do anything to Vini? I mean, Real Madrid, the hierarchy at Real Madrid have shown over the last couple of years they have zero class in them with the things they're doing, complaining about referees, and cancelling the trip for all people concerned with Real Madrid because Vini wasn't getting the Ballon d'Or. All this hierarchy at Real Madrid are going to do, any chance they get, are catch the backside of Vini or anybody else. So 100% this is down to Alonso, and he has to bench him. If he doesn't bench him, then I think everybody will just lose a little bit of respect for the coach.
But he has to, but you think he would have to bench him, but he has a league to win. He has the pressure of managing Real Madrid.
Liverpool soon too. I bet Stevie would love him to be benched for that one.
Probably could bench him for that one, actually, the way Liverpool are playing. So yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because you're definitely weakening your team when you take him out, but you're weakening your own position if you don't. And so it's a really difficult position. And he's put his manager in an unnecessary situation here by this tantrum. And we were doing the pre-game show with Kay and Ali, and the word maturity got mentioned about maybe he is maturing, maybe he's seeing the bigger picture, maybe he knows that Mbappe is the main man at the moment, and he can add it in different ways and be more of a team player. And so the word maturity sort of popped up in the pre-game studio, and then it got kicked in the trash can by the end of it because he went off on another tantrum. Yes. But think about it. Brahim Diaz was already on the field in the front line as a substitute. Kylian Mbappe was already on, so he was never going to take a midfielder off to bring on Rodrigo, because that was, at that point, they were, under a little bit of pressure. So the only other person, unless he took Kylian Mbappe or took Brahim Diaz off, who he just brought on, the only other person that he could have taken off for fresh legs was actually Vini Jr. Yeah. If he'd thought about it that way, maybe he wouldn't have reacted, but he didn't.
Alonso has to think big picture. If he's just thinking about winning the next game, then it's a mistake. Sometimes you strengthen the group by showing your strength with one of the so-called big stars. Because when you let somebody like Vini off with this or anything else, the next time it comes round and it's somebody else, it's hold on a second. You didn't touch the big guy. Why are you going to suspend me or drop me or fine me or whatever if I've done something similar, but he didn't do it to that guy? So sometimes you have to look at the big picture. And let's be honest, even without Vini, they should be capable of beating most teams.
Frank, I know you love yourself some good behaviour as well, and I hate to see this from footballers. What do you think Xabi Alonso should do? Should he bench him for 1-2 games?
Yes, I think he should. I like the fact that he publicly didn't say too much or didn't say anything, because I think he won that game, and that's a big time Clasico, and he has to stay on that positive aspect of what happened during the weekend. But yes, I think he should bench him. I'm very curious to see, because we saw the images of Vini complaining when he was going out. I would love to see what was his point, really. Because as Craig mentioned, he was the only one who should have gone out, maybe Mbappe. But, comparing Mbappe to Vinicius Jr. right now, that's not very good for Vini. So I want to know what Vini is really putting down to explain that he shouldn't go out. I'm very curious, because I think there is no point, because again, Xabi Alonso had no choice but putting Vini out in order to put Rodrigo in. Otherwise, he would have to put a midfielder or a defender, on and put somebody else out. But there was no reason for Vini to comment that. And again, the worst, he can complain, showing he's not happy. That's all right. That's part of the game. But going straight to the dressing room, that's offending to the teammates, the coach, and the club. And I think he needs to be punished. Money-wise, he doesn't care. But I think to be on the bench will be enough.
Before we go back to Gustavo, just quickly, I suppose it's landing on his lap when you saw the graphic with the fixtures. Yeah. In some sense, because they have Valencia next, and they are third bottom of the Liga. Their struggles
makes it easier, doesn't it?
Their struggles continue season after season, even since they changed manager. Huge club, but they've been a struggling team for a while now, and that maybe presents itself with an easier opportunity to dish out a bit of punishment, rather than had it been, Villarreal or Athletic Club or another team that's up sort of near the top.
Personally, I think you should leave him out of Liverpool.
Of course you would, Stevie.
But then again, I'm not in charge.
Of course you would, Stevie.